Let me say something that might sound a little counterintuitive right now, but motivation is not your friend. In fact, waiting for motivation might be the single biggest reason that you haven't built the business you want, or the brand you want, or the life you want. And I know that sounds wrong. We're all out here looking for motivation, watching pump up videos, making vision boards, trying to get inspired. But here's the truth. Motivation, unfortunately, is unreliable. It comes and goes. It shows up when it feels like it. And if you're building something, a personal brand, you cannot operate on motivation's schedule. What you need is something better, something that you can actually train your brain to produce on demand every single day. And that's what this episode, this session is all about. By the way, I'm Philip. You're tuned into the Rebel Creator Sessions where we stop overthinking and start executing. Now, let's be honest about what's actually happening when you wait for motivation. You wake up, you know you should work on your content, you know you should write that post, record that video, send that email, but you just don't feel it today. So you tell yourself, I'll do it later. I'll do it when I'm in the zone. And later becomes tomorrow, and tomorrow becomes next week. Meanwhile, someone else, someone no more talented than you, no smarter than you, is showing up every single day. Not because they feel like it, but because they figure out something that you haven't. And here's what that inconsistency is actually costing you. It's not just the content you didn't post, it's the compounding effect that you're missing. Every day you don't show up, is a day your audience doesn't grow, a day your skills don't sharpen, a day that your confidence doesn't get stronger. And it all adds up quietly, invisibly, until one day you look around and wonder why you're still in the same place that you were 1 year ago. I know that feeling all too well because I've been there myself. And this is the part that nobody tells you. Every time you wait for motivation, you're not just delaying action, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who doesn't follow through. And whether you realize it or not, that identity starts to stick. The painful truth is that you're not stuck because you lack talent. You're stuck because you're relying on the wrong fuel. And that fuel, motivation, is running out faster than ever because we live in a world that is engineered to drain it. So what's actually going on inside your brain? Well, you've probably heard of dopamine. Now, most people think it's the pleasure chemical, but that's not quite right. Dopamine is the drive chemical. It's what makes you pursue things. It's what gets you off the couch and moving toward your goal. And your brain is constantly asking one question: where is the reward? The problem is, in today's world, your brain has been trained to find that reward in the easiest places possible. A scroll through Instagram, a quick YouTube video, a notification ping. These things give you a tiny hit of dopamine instantly, effortlessly, with zero discomfort. And your brain loves that. It starts to prefer it. It starts to crave it. So when you sit down to do real meaningful work like writing, creating, building, your brain resists. It goes, why would I do that? That's hard. That's uncomfortable. The reward isn't immediate. So what's really happening is your brain has been trained to chase what's easy, not what matters. And at some point, if you actually want to build something meaningful, you have to rebel against that. Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist at Stanford, talk about this idea. If your dopamine is coming from easy, passive activities, your brain will keep chasing those. But if you can shift your dopamine source to the effort itself, to the process of doing the work, then your brain starts chasing that instead. He's actually called this the holy grail of human motivation, drive, and pursuit. And I think he's right. So here's the shift, and this is where everything changes. Stop chasing motivation and start becoming someone who doesn't need it. Motivation is emotional, it's reactive. It depends on how you feel, what you watched, what someone said to you. It's completely outside of your control. But drive, inner drive, that's different. Drive is something you can build deliberately, neurologically, by training your brain to find pleasure in the effort itself. This isn't some kind of a mindset trick, it's neuroscience. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision making and long term thinking, has the ability to override your brain's default reward patterns. You can use it to decide what feels rewarding. Most people never use this ability, they just go wherever dopamine pulls them. But high performers learn to direct it. When you sit down to do the work and you consciously tell yourself, this is where the reward is, not in scrolling, not in waiting, but right here in the effort, you are literally rewiring your brain over time. And your brain starts believing that, it stops resisting the work and it starts craving it. That is what real drive looks like. Not something you wait for, but something you train yourself into. You know, most people overcomplicate this, but it's actually where you take your power back. When you sit down to work and everything in you says, I don't want to do this, here's what you do. First, you name the resistance. Don't ignore it, don't fight it, just notice it. Tell yourself, okay, I'm feeling resistance now. That's it. By naming it, you take the power out of it. You're no longer being pulled unconsciously. Second, you ask yourself the right question. Not, do I feel like doing this? But where does the real pleasure live right now? Not the fake pleasure, not the quick hit, but the real, lasting, meaningful one. And the honest answer is, it's in the work. It's in making progress. It's in becoming the kind of person who shows up. And then third, start before you're ready. Don't wait for the feeling, start first. The feeling follows the action, okay? Not the other way around. Give it 2 minutes, open the document, hit record, write the first sentence, because once you're in motion, your brain starts to feel the reward of momentum and the resistance starts to fade. Because this is what rebel creators do. They move first and let their brain catch up. This is where your life starts to feel different. Not easier, but cleaner, more intentional. You wake up, whether you feel inspired or not, and you do the work. Not because you forced yourself, but because your brain has learned to find it rewarding. Your content becomes more consistent, your skills improve, your output becomes more consistent, your confidence builds, your audience grows if you're building an audience. Not in random bursts, but steadily, daily, reliably. That, rebel creators, is the real unfair advantage. Not talent, not luck, not intelligence. It's the ability to show up when no one else does, because you've trained your brain to love the work. That's what separates people who talk about it from the ones who actually build something real. And that's available to you starting today. So here's your takeaway. Stop waiting for motivation. It's a trap. Instead, train your brain to find pleasure in the effort. Use these 3 steps. Name the resistance, ask where the real pleasure is, and start before you're ready. Do that consistently and you won't need motivation anymore. You'll have something far more powerful. And if you're serious about becoming that person, someone who actually follows through, I've put something together for you. In the description, you'll find the Rebel Creator Blueprint. It's a free mini course and a workbook designed to help you break out of procrastination and start building real momentum. I truly hope that you found value in today's session. And if so, I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.